Let's begin with the foundations. Welcome to another lecture. Today we consider Oliver Tree, a musician, filmmaker, and internet-era performance strategist whose career, if you will, braided sound, spectacle, and satire. I am Professor Alexei, and with me is Priyanka. Together we will navigate the record with due care and a touch of dry humor.
Hi everyone, I'm Priyanka. I'm excited and kind of humbled to think about an artist who treated the internet like both a stage and a laboratory.
To frame our discussion, Oliver Tree Nickel, born June 1993 in Santa Cruz, California, known professionally as Oliver Tree, was a singer-songwriter, rapper, record producer, filmmaker, comedian, and internet personality. It is worth noting he consistently authored his own visuals, writing, directing, and often performing stunts in service of a highly constructed persona. The bowl cut, the oversized clothing, the deadpan delivery. Musically, he occupied the intersection of alternative rock, indie pop, hip-hop, alternative pop, and dance, a hybrid that allowed singles to transit multiple charts and algorithmic ecosystems. Two brief definitional matters. First, EP, an extended play recording that includes more tracks than a single, yet remains shorter than a full album. Second, RIAA certifications, gold and platinum signals of cumulative sales and streams in the United States. These markers recur throughout Tree's discography. For instance, Alien Boy and Hurt went platinum. Miracle Man and Let Me Down achieved gold. Life Goes On reached platinum. And his association with Miss You in 2022 extended his international reach. In simpler terms, the numbers corroborate the virality we observe in the cultural narratives.
So, just to anchor it, an EP sits between a single and an album. RIAA tells us when a song crosses big audience thresholds. And his sound blends guitars and synths with hip-hop cadence. That seems, intentionally platform-friendly.
Moving forward, why this matters. Tree exemplifies modern multimedia practice. He fused songwriting with internet-native comedy, collaborative EDM and alternative production, and high-concept filmmaking. As we continue, we should understand that such synthesis did not simply decorate the music. It acted as distribution strategy. The meme becomes the marketing. The stunt becomes the press hook. The character becomes the continuity across releases. Historically, this pushed against genre silos and against the assumption that musicians must outsource their visual and narrative control. Now on to our next point, the basic record. Born in Santa Cruz, his early years included ska band fronting, electronic experiments, and performances under the shorthand Tree. He signed to R&S Records in 2013 for the Demons EP. Around the same time, Tom York approved his Karma Police cover, signaling cross-genre credibility. After CalArts study in music technology and fine arts, he re-emerged via collaborations with Getter and Weathen. When I'm Down in October 2016 went viral and precipitated his late 2016 signing to Atlantic Records. Welcome to LA arrived in May 2017. Coachella appearances and LA Weekly's Best and Weirdest Fashion Notice helped cement the persona. The Alien Boy EP landed in February 2018 with a double video for All That Ex-Alien Boy. He trained for months in freestyle monster truck jumping to perform his own stunts. December 2018's Hurt, filmed in Ukraine, became signature and later platinum. Next, let's explore the album arc. Ugly is Beautiful was delayed in March 2020 due to COVID-19 and delayed again in June 2020 in deference to the public focus on racism and police violence. It was then released in July 2020. On that same day, he uploaded footage of himself riding and crashing the Guinness-certified largest kick scooter he had set in May, a theatrical press accelerant attached to the music. The 2021 deluxe, shorter, thicker, and uglier, yielded Life Goes On, which found substantial global traction. Subsequent releases included Cowboy Tears in February 2022, the 2022 Dance Association Miss You with Robin Schulz, Alone in a Crowd in September 2023, and Love You Madly, Hate You Badly in April 2026, independently via his Alien Boy imprint after departing Atlantic. He announced the world's first world tour in May 2026, which launched in Mexico City and included a performance in Sao Paulo. In June 2026, he died at age 32 in a mid-air helicopter collision in Rio de Janeiro. Authorities stated in June 2026 that the cause was under investigation. We will not speculate beyond that official posture.
That is a lot of velocity. The scooter world record, followed by the crash clip on release day, is such a precise example of turning a visual gag into distribution energy.
Speaking of personal stakes, I confess a fondness for the method. As it were, he treated each rollout like a chess problem. Constrain the board, escalate with an unlikely move, force the audience's attention, then resolve with the song. I cannot jump a monster truck. I can, however, admire the discipline it takes to make the stunt serve the thesis rather than the other way around. This logically leads us to three structured questions. First, historical. What influenced Oliver Tree's distinctive artistic style? Second, counterfactual. What if he had not delayed Ugly is Beautiful in 2020? Third, present day. What remains unresolved about his impact on multimedia artistry? We shall proceed with evidence, and where we must speculate, we will label it as such. Big question 1. The historical scaffolding. We observe three formative vectors. Santa Cruz provided a tight-knit arts community, early band leadership in ska, and a comfort with DIY production and performance circuits, including bass-oriented events like Wobbleland. The CalArts period from 2013 to 2016 provided technical competencies in music technology and visual storytelling, sound design, editing, directing, and the courage to integrate filmcraft into music promotion. Finally, the internet incentive structure of 2016 onward favored character-driven, meme-literate content. Tree leaned into this with conspicuous costuming and an effect that LA Weekly had already marked at Coachella 2017 as anomalous yet memorable. Add the stunt discipline, 5 months of monster truck training for a single double video, and we have an artist for whom risk, humor, and authorship were indivisible.
I'm curious about the CalArts part. How did his education influence the look and feel of those videos, beyond just having better cameras? Like, what mechanisms are we really talking about?
It's important to understand the pipeline. CalArts training implies fluency in pre-visualization, storyboarding, and iterative sound-to-picture alignment. It also implies the habit of integrating practical effects and location scouting into narrative goals. Consider Hurt. Filmed in Ukraine, the stark palette and framing support the song's emotional geometry rather than distract from it. Consider All That to Alien Boy. Months of stunt preparation at Paris Auto Speedway yielded shots whose authenticity cannot be faked in post. That authenticity becomes the shareable asset. In conclusion, education did not merely upgrade equipment, it expanded his capacity to conceive, direct, and safely execute high-risk ideas that served the music. Big question 2. The counterfactual concerning the 2020 album delay. The empirical record shows 2 sequential postponements. First, due to the pandemic. Second, to center public attention on racism and police violence. We can infer two effects. Ethically, such decisions align the brand with social reality rather than escapism. Strategically, the staggered timeline extended audience anticipation and created surface area for later tracks like Life Goes On to find global oxygen in 2021, aided by the deluxe edition and short-form video trends. Had the album arrived on the initial March 2020 date, it may have suffered from the chaotic early lockdown information environment, with reduced touring and diminished capacity for coordinated promotion.
Can we say that the album would still have succeeded without the delays? Or do you think the delay was actually critical to what happened later with Life Goes On and global discovery?
To elaborate, success likely would have occurred in some form given his pre-existing viral momentum and Atlantic's infrastructure. However, the delay appears to have enhanced the long tail. First, it accrued goodwill by acknowledging the moment. Second, it synchronized the deluxe cycle with a reopening audience primed for mid-tempo, emotionally legible songs such as Life Goes On. Third, it permitted the integration of meme-forward spectacles like the world's largest scooter on the definitive release day. This helped re-anchor attention without touring. Theoretically, an earlier release might have peaked sooner, yet decayed faster. The actual path favored durable catalog engagement. Big question 3. The unresolved present. Tree's influence on multimedia artistry is still being metabolized. We observe cross-genre collaborations with Weathen, Getter, David Guetta, Little Big, Tommy Cash, and Supercomputer. We observe business model experimentation in April 2026 when he left Atlantic to self-release via Alien Boy Records. And we observe touring as conceptual art in the world's first world tour planned to touch all 7 continents. The open questions include replicability. Can emerging artists sustainably combine auteur-level video control, stuntcraft, and internet comedy without major label resources? How does independence alter ownership and risk allocation? And what metrics best capture the compounding effect of spectacle on song longevity across platforms?
What could artists learn from his approach without, needing a monster truck? Are there principles we can generalize for students who make music and short video today?
In simpler terms, 5 takeaways. 1. Narrative coherence matters. Design a persona whose look, tone, and behaviors persist across releases, so each post reinforces the last. 2. Authorial control compounds. Learn enough editing, directing, and sound design to prototype ideas without gatekeepers. 3. Spectacle must be truth adjacent. Practical stunts or unusual production choices read as authentic and thus travel further. 4. Collaborate across scenes to enter new algorithmic neighborhoods while maintaining your core character. Observe Tree's path from alternative to global dance playlists. 5. Time releases with the world as it is. Strategic delays or reframings can convert sensitivity into sustained attention. Further research should quantify these dynamics. For example, measuring conversion from high-risk visual assets to streaming uplift over long horizons. To summarize, Oliver Tree united music, visual authorship, and internet literacies into a single operating system. He influenced how artists may think about stunts, memes, and self-direction. And his catalog, from Alien Boy and Hurt to Life Goes On and Miss You, documents the method's reach. We contemplated his influences, the strategic implications of the 2020 delays, and the ongoing questions surrounding multimedia artistry and independent release models.
So, I guess that kind of sums it up. Maybe, for homework, we should all study how internet culture reshapes music discovery, not just how music tries to go viral within it.
This then completes our present analysis. Thank you for listening to another lecture. Be well, study widely, and remember, the most elegant stunt is the one that makes the song inevitable.
Thank you, Professor.